Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Survivor 41 Episode 6 review. And here's how this video is going to go. We're going to come on here. We're going to tell you all about this episode. We're going to share some hot takes and opinions. But don't worry. If you don't like it, all you have to do is pick up the hammer next to your monitor or device or whatever you're watching this on. Just smash the device, and then all of our opinions instantly change.
My goodness, this is quite the start of the video, Matt.
Listen, this episode was weird. This episode took a big drink of something before it even came on.
There were so many twists and turns and new sort of advantages changing the game. This whole season has been about this, and it's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough. Jeff, please stop. You just need to stop.
This is why Probst couldn't give this season a subtitle, because there was too much to choose from in between the 8 million different. It would have been Survivor 41, Knowledge is Power, Tribe Swap Extra Vote Edition.
Also, roll the dice.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Smash the hourglass.
This is where we are, everybody. But we're going to go through everything. There is a lot to dive into within this episode. Strategy, twists,
Yep.
turns,
Yep.
exile, subscribe. That's the button that's right there. Please hit that. We are here every week talking about Survivor, giving you plenty of hot takes. We don't want you guys to miss any of those.
Yeah, we're almost at 56,000 subscribers. It's really cool for us.
Yeah.
We've been really growing this year, and thank you to everyone who has hit that subscribe button to help grow our channel. So yeah, if you want to be part of it, hit that subscribe button and follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
Yeah.
Matt got a new donut.
I did. It is delicious.
It is delicious, and he will be having a picture of that up soon.
Yes. Just wonder what could it be along
What
the
could
way.
it be?
Yeah, don't worry. If you don't like it, smash something else and I'll go get another one for the weekend. All right, we're done with that joke. But okay, this video is a marathon, not a sprint. So we're not gonna rush to the end of this yet. There's a lot to set up here.
Yeah, there is. Okay, so let's just talk about the mistake that Shan made. She has made a couple of mistakes in this episode, which really hurts my heart because
Yeah.
I really like Shan. I've been rooting for her all season. I'm still rooting for her. She's my winner pick. I'd like her to win, but there were some errors. And the first error that really kicked off was when she asked Ricard for that advantage back. I know paranoia runs deep. It does.
Yeah.
It does on all these shows. You don't know who you can trust. But if she hadn't done that, I really do believe, even though he's getting the villain edit, that trust would have been solid enough that he would have handed it back to her the next day without an issue.
It's sort of like when you're going on a road trip and the person you're going on the road trip says, okay, by the way, don't worry, we're gonna stop in and grab some burgers a couple of hours in. But then the other person spends the whole time on the road trip being like, so when are we getting the burgers? When are we getting the burgers? It's like eventually that just kind of drives you a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And I think you need to have a little bit of patience. And I think that did hurt Shan a great deal, especially before Tribal Council even happened.
Oh, yeah, because that went on, it seemed like, all night. They were back and forth and back and forth. The next day, again, still, she's like, I'm going to try one more time to get this back from you. And he had said, I'll give it back to you in the morning anyways.
Yeah.
And he gave it back to her. And is that going to come back to bite him? Yeah, it probably is. At that point, their relationship was done. There was no coming back from that. Shan made a mistake. He kept it to be like, listen, like, you can't blindside me. I'm not going to go through what JD just went through.
Yeah.
So no, you can't have it back. You can have it back in the morning and we'll repair things. But it is not repairable. It's done.
I hope that we see Ricard start to try to make some new connections, build some new allies. I mean, we'll talk about it later with Shannon this episode, but it just feels like they are both really interesting players. Like, I really like watching both of them. I don't want either one of them to be voted off anytime soon.
No, they're making this show pretty fun to watch.
Okay, so the first, I guess, really a big thing to get into here is just Probst.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I've mentioned this in a few videos already that I'm just not enjoying watching him talk to us. And in this episode, we even had a camera person shooting Jeff. I was just like, oh, okay, I just got pulled right out of this.
It's the thing is that we all know Survivor is a TV show. Like, and trust us, we're not actually pretending that we're out on Survivor while we're watching Survivor. We're just like sitting down and eating potato chips and like, obnoxiously complaining about people.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's nice to feel like
yeah.
you're in the show.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen this in a couple shows and movies and stuff like that where you have like a blood splatter. Somebody gets killed. You have a blood splatter and it hits the camera. The minute it hits the camera, I am just taken out of where I was. I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm watching a movie. Okay, thanks for reminding me for no reason. I was really into your story. And now here's Jeff being filmed by someone else who's filming them. I'm just kind of like, I can do without it.
It's insulting our intelligence to like, make us think that, oh, we need to see all this 41 seasons in, when instead we're using airtime on this, and then we're also using airtime on whatever the what this was. So okay, here's an attempt at trying to explain what this was going on here.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to draw some rocks because everybody loves that in Survivor.
Yeah, so we are at the merge, but we're not exactly at the merge yet.
Yeah, the merge, where if you have a blue or a yellow rock, you have an opportunity to take part in this challenge. If you have a gray rock, you get to sit over there and basically just shut up for the next little while.
Yeah, it was just, I'm not a fan of the drawing of the rocks for any reason on this show. So as soon as they were like, oh, and you get these 2 gray rocks and you'll sit over there and we'll deal with you later, I was kind of like, please don't let this be something where they're immediately eliminated because sorry for your luck.
It's just a total, okay, this is my get off my lawn moment of this video. It's just that I like Survivor merges the way they are. They don't have to be this complicated. Like, there's something traditional about seeing everyone get together, have the merge feast together, start to strategize together. It's like, trust your players. Like, we just talked about interesting stuff between Shan and Ricard, and I know part of it was twist related, but it was still story being dictated by the players. Probst, you are not a player. You are not the star. We do not need to spend pure minutes listening to you explain things.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Leanna, who was thinking about actually flipping on Xander, where she was saying, oh, this guy, he's great. He'll do anything that I ask. Like, we are one. So I'm going to flip on him. It was just kind of like, what? You do need to trust these players. This is a very good cast.
Yeah.
There's no reason to put all this frosting on it. The cake is good.
All right, so the gray rocks. Nasir, Erika, you guys sit over there. You be quiet for a while. Okay. Yeah. Yellow team. Xander, Heather, Leanna, Tiffany, Shan.
Yeah.
Blue team.
Yeah.
Danny, Ricard, Sydney, Deshawn, Evie.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the teams. First reaction to the teams.
Oh, when I first saw the teams, I was, wow, one of them is very overpowered. So it was no surprise that the blue team won this without really any problems whatsoever. And it was, because it just felt very obvious who was going to end up winning this. And I'm not trying to say that if you have a team that has mostly women on it, that you are not going to get anywhere with that, because that is just not true. And we've all seen Squid Games at this point, so we also know it's not true on fictional shows as well as reality. But this team that was put together for the yellow team, they really haven't eaten in a very long time. And that's the biggest thing that comes into play here. It's not really, the other team is all men and it's 4 women and Xander. It's the yellow team is not, they haven't eaten. They haven't really been sleeping. The other team is filled with very strong, well-fed, well-slept, so bored that they were just going to let's vote out Erika if we can find a way to throw a challenge, because we're not even playing.
Yeah, this is just sort of where this all kind of lied. And it's just also, this was such the first half of this challenge was basically rolling a giant boulder. And it's like, okay, what are the teams? You have a former NFL player on that. And it's just like, okay, Danny, Danny also seemed to do reasonably well in the puzzle at the end of all of this. And
Mhm.
I'm just sort of from the outside of this looking at, okay, so Danny is obviously a huge physical threat. He can put together a puzzle without a problem.
Mhm.
This dude's gonna win a lot of immunity challenges. Like, I would be really worried about him.
Yeah, he can win his way to the end, and people really like him on top of it. So, if he ended up winning the game, I'm not going to be surprised.
Is everybody ready to talk about another twist that was thrown in here? What happens to the Grey Rock people?
All right, so here's the Grey Rock people. So the blue team won, so they got to decide who was going to join them for the merge and who was going to go off to this island in exile where they couldn't have anything for 2 days. No shelter, a tiny bit of rice, a little jug of water, and all the best to you.
Erika, congratulations. You get to go to Exile Island where you're by yourself, and this is all thanks to a wonderful game of rock, paper, scissors, which, by the way...
Which they never ended up playing. I
Yeah.
mean, they even said it later that they just really wanted to keep Nasir because they were starting to get worried that all the men were getting voted out, where it's kind of like, Jeannie left last week, so, she's not a man. Not all the men are being, kicked out here or whatever. But that the rock, paper, scissors was this, like, sort of, cover.
Yeah. When you're playing a game for $1 million, you're not going to just totally leave it up to chance. Much like Squid Game, you are going to try to find a way to manipulate the system to get
Yes.
advantages in your favor.
Yes.
That is just the way that this happens. Goodbye, Erika, at least for a couple of days. You can sit around by yourself until Jeff Probst shows up a little bit later.
Yeah.
Okay, so blue team wins this. We have this weird, just crummy merge feast that's awkward because it's just like a handful of people.
Yeah, it wasn't as magnificent as it usually is.
Then we have the losers. We go over to Loser Beach, which I guess is actually just the merge feast.
Yeah. They eventually ended up all coming together. Of course, the people are fed, the other people are not fed.
Yeah.
It was kind of everybody put on a good face, but
Okay. Remember the knowledge is power advantage, everyone.
we all remember your rant and how much you hate it. Also, I don't like it either.
It sucks. Okay, I'm
It's
not
so overpowered.
Yeah, I like Leanna and all, but it is just so ridiculously overpowered. And you know what? I understand fully. If you're Leanna and you have the most overpowered advantage of all time, like, you probably don't want to... Okay, I don't know if it's all time, but you have a really overpowered advantage. You probably don't want to tell a lot of people that you have it.
It was, here's Shan's next mistake. Very surprising to see her come up to her and just reveal this power while Tiffany is right there. Like, she doesn't really know Tiffany.
No, and that was just also the sort of thing where, of course, if you start to talk about it in a way where there are multiple people there, of course, that person in Tiffany is going to come over later and be like, so what was the advantage? Tell me, give me the tea on what it is. Because if you don't at that point, they're going to immediately know you don't trust them.
Yeah, and it didn't matter anyways, because Tiffany's feeling that Leanna waited too long to tell her, so that trust isn't there. But Shan knows about it, who wasn't part of the tribe, who wasn't part of, the three of them together with Xander. Tiffany's already 1 foot out the door on her now, so that's not great.
I am on Team Mess. I feel like this has been very, very much established in these videos over the years. I want this to turn into a train wreck. I'm hoping that Tiffany, the resident queen of Survivor paranoia, as we saw earlier in the season, she needs Tiffany. Please go to Xander in the next episode. Tell him all about this advantage. Get him really, really worried that his advantage is going to be stolen because, Leanna pretty much knows that he has it. I want to see something crazy come out of this.
I mean, we didn't hear everything that Tiffany was saying on the beach, but it looked like she was telling other people already.
Yeah, I love the camera people.
Her over there being like...
That's the other...
She could be like, hey, why don't we have some rice for dinner? Maybe some coconuts. We don't really know what's going on.
That's the great thing about her, right? Like, we all know people that talk in like that really, really crazy animated way where they could be saying anything and you think it's like the worst thing in the world that they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, that was like really sort of like an office style camera shot of her. That was really, really great.
It was good.
Though, okay, so we have some of this sort of stuff going on. Tiffany's off, running her mouth maybe about this advantage, but then we have the formation of an alliance, and this could be potentially a really, really powerful alliance. It could also be Survivor throwing us off the scent. We have Deshawn, Danny, Leanna, Shan. That is the 4 right now. There's a lot of power mixed in there.
Yeah, there is.
I think they could go really, really far in the game. I feel like they've really edited Leanna and Shan as like enormous players who are both probably going to make it really far. I'm not so sure about the guys though.
Yeah, they really have had that edit.
Like, it's going to be hard to kind of get a good sense of the where things, because this is early in the game. There's only, there's 12 people. There's only 4 within this alliance. They don't have the majority. I know the obvious comparison here is going to be between this alliance and the Cookout and Big Brother. I mean, there was stories on the show told about how, and this is true, in Survivor seasons, you don't often have enough black players, especially black players who make it far enough in the game to actually work together. So there was a lot of truth that was rang through a lot of what they were saying in the confessionals. Now, this was filmed before Big Brother. I just think that's important for clarity's sake, where these players don't know that the Cookout was a thing and dominated over the course of this summer. And I think that could definitely, it alters the narrative in a way where it says that, okay, these are people who are not typically used to seeing dominance by black players on any CBS reality show, and that makes this all the more important to them now. I mean, we've only seen a tiny bit of it. Who knows where this goes, but this could be a foundation.
Yeah, it feels like a foundation, but it still feels like they're playing individual games. That if they do need to cut each other down the road, that they are going to do whatever they actually end up having to do.
Yeah, so it's worth watching out for. The thing with Survivor at the merge is a lot of times there are about 800 alliances, and it's kind of just like that. So
yeah, it's tough because we have seen some people who are sort of look like they're forming final twos and stuff like that already.
Okay, so now we get the Probst, and Probst is going to, I think, show up here in a boat to.
Please don't.
This is the
He's
thing.
gonna come over and tell us to smash our monitor.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
at
no.
the beginning of this video.
Okay, now this is the thing with Probst. If Probst is showing up to your island, it typically means one of two things: either he's about to escort you away from the game, he's about to tell you bad news about somebody else.
Yep.
Or a twist is a coming.
And this season, it always seems to be a twist is coming.
Yeah, a twist is coming, which, Erika, she's been, miserable out on an island by herself, probably not eating very much at all. I'm sure she was happy to have any visitor whatsoever.
Yep. Leaning into being just a poor Canadian girl. Me too. Also poor Canadian girl over here.
Well, Probst needs to show up then, because then he could give us an advantage in the game of life.
That'd be all right?
Okay, so here is the...
I just feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Like, she hasn't really done anything that everybody is so against her. And I'm not just saying that because I'm also Canadian and she's also Canadian. Yeah, we have our bond.
Yeah, you have
but
your bond.
at the same time, she really hasn't done anything. And her whole team was ready to throw a challenge to just kick her off the team because they're bored.
Yeah.
And she ended up just saying one little wrong thing at a wrong time that people ran with it, that she talked about Sydney one time at camp and all of a sudden the whole team's against her. I feel really bad.
This is where things get a little bit devious. Okay, so Probst, he is telling her, you can smash this hourglass I'm putting in front of you, and if you do this, everything is reversed. Those people who were safe, they are now in danger. The people who were in danger are now safe. You're okay. You're in a good spot for this next vote. You won't be voted off, but granted, you will probably have a lot of people really ticked off at you.
Yeah, and a lot of those people are the people that she was on a team with. Now, that being said, I mean, she will earn a lot of possible loyalty from the people that she did this for, that they'll be like, oh wow, you made this happen for us, cool, come in, hugs all around, Canada. And but the other team, of course, that she has been mostly working with, because they're all on the team together, but at the same time she's at the bottom of it and she knows it.
It is going to be I think it is going to be a tricky decision for her to make. I will say this, just personal take on this. I know everyone's going to expect, some big yelling on top of the mountain over this, like with the knowledge is power advantage. But here's the thing. I don't actually hate this fully, because it feels like so much of the, the teams, the challenge, like all that was just basically kind of just based on chance, really. Like nobody did that much to deserve anything. So what the heck?
I'm going to say 100% this is used. I feel like she would be a complete idiot not to use it. She knows, she's got to know. And she said it sort of, that she's like, yeah, I was part of this tribe, but I always didn't really feel like I was. And clearly they sent me over here. And I don't think she believes that rock, paper, scissors nonsense. Yeah. Like, why would you? Just smash it.
Yes. The other thing is just like, you have a couple of days you're going to buy yourself if you do this, because you'll be safe, and you don't know what's going to happen in a couple days of Survivor. Like somebody else could just start screaming about how certain people have the idols. They could dig themselves an entire hole. You have time to recover from something like this, but if you do not use it and you are voted out at the next tribal council because of it, you will never recover from that. Like if that was me, it would haunt me for the rest of my days. I would have nightmares about it at night.
The only reason I wouldn't be smashing it immediately in front of Jeff, he just hand me the hammer, I'd be like, boop, we're done with this, is because production told me I needed to look like I was contemplating something, or I was brooding, or I just didn't know, for the cliffhanger, because I just don't know why she wouldn't hit that. She's got immunity sitting right in front of her. I don't know why she wouldn't take it. They sent her here.
Here's what I would do if I'm Survivor production.
Do it.
Yeah, here's how the next episode's gonna start. It's inspired by what you just said. So they needed the cliffhanger, right? They needed us to be guessing. So we're left with her guessing. The start of the next episode, we're gonna see Probe starting to walk away, and then she's gonna be like, hey, Jeff, yeah, and then she's gonna smash the thing, and it's gonna be like, we waited a full week for something that happens like 5 seconds after the cliffhanger.
Oh, for sure. I don't see how she doesn't.
Yeah, I would die Survivor, hire us. We can produce this content for you.
That's right.
Okay, well,
but not as a Survivor. I would be terrible at it.
Yeah, well, don't actually put us to play in the game. I think we established when we were watching the episode, that part where they were rolling the boulder up? We would start to do that, and then it would just roll back over us.
Absolutely, that would happen to me without a doubt.
The Survivor medics are currently, like, pulling us out from under the rock.
If I can't have potato chips on the island, I don't want to play.
Yeah, we're going to sit here. We're going to eat them at home. Okay, well, let us know what you thought about episode 6, the wide array of twists that we got. Who do you think is actually in the best spot right now? And also, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you here next time.